Hey, what's up, everyone? It is I, the man, the myth, the mustache, Tim here, with a new video for you all. Welcome to part 2 of What If Deku Could Use Haki. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax, cause you're in for a treat. So, let's begin, shall we? It's a very generous offer that you're giving me, All Might, but I'm gonna have to decline, Midoriya said, his voice being both awkward and serious. Both Rayleigh and All Might were shocked by the answer, as they motioned for Midoriya to explain himself. The green-haired boy gave them a more confident look as he said, "I'm probably the biggest idiot in the world for declining such an offer. Being All Might's successor, who isn't dreaming that these days?" Before he gave an empty laugh. "I want to be a hero, and I want to be just like you. By taking your power, I could easily reach that goal, but I want to earn it. I want to reach it with my own power. I want to be able to feel a certain satisfaction of having reached the top without nothing but my own spirit," the teen said as he showed his clenched fist to both his listeners. All Might and Rayleigh were frozen with shock. The fact that Midoriya decided to make such a decision while being quirkless could be seen as idiotic by many. For Rayleigh and All Might, however, it was almost perfect. Denying the power of the #1 hero, just how strong is his spirit to be capable of making such a decision? Rayleigh smiled at Midoriya as he reached his hand out over his head. The green-haired boy prepared himself to get hit again, but it was proven to be unnecessary just seconds afterward. "You idiot," Rayleigh said as he patted Midoriya on the head. The green-haired boy looked confused, for this is normally where he gets hit. All Might smiled upon seeing this, before he walked up and said, "Very well, young Midoriya. I'm expecting great things from you. I hope we meet again in the future. Good luck." The skeletal man then walked off, leaving the student and master to themselves. Midoriya smiled as he watched All Might go, until Rayleigh hit him. "Ow! What was that for?" Midoriya shouted. The old man grinned at him as he said, "I patted you because I was moved by your resolve. I hit you because you're an idiot." Midoriya rubbed his skull in response. Rayleigh then resumed walking as he said, "Come on, we've got 10 months to train before the UA entrance exam." The green-haired boy lit up upon the mention of UA before he sprinted after his master. For the following 10 months, Midoriya trained like there was no tomorrow. Rayleigh didn't just put him through excruciating physical training, but also training for his spirit and will. This included getting thrown into harsh environments with the goal of surviving, fighting dangerous and monstrous animals, or just fighting and getting pummeled by Rayleigh. Eventually, Midoriya managed to improve his armament Haki, while also getting better at using his observation. Right now, both he and Rayleigh were standing in a forest, as if they were waiting for something. Midoriya was only half awake, due to the horrible exhaustion that he was feeling. He forced himself to stay awake though, otherwise Rayleigh would hit him with more force than usual. The green-haired boy forced his eyes open, when suddenly he felt the ground shaking. It didn't take long to register what it was. Something big was approaching them. The shaking grew bigger, and eventually, its source revealed. From the trees, a monster-sized bear came through, violently growling for blood. Midoriya was wide awake now. I mean, who wouldn't be? Rayleigh looked at him and simply said, "You know what to do," before he took 2 steps back. Midoriya nodded at his master before he took 2 steps forward. The bear fixed its attention onto the green-haired boy as it growled even more. It then lifted one of its paws to attack. Midoriya stood still, unamused by what was happening. He sent his spirit out as a wave, and the world around him seemed to stop. Everything went back to normal afterwards, as if nothing happened. The bear stopped moving and showed nothing but pure terror in its eyes. It slowly lowered its trembling paw back to the ground. Midoriya walked up to the bear and patted it gently. The bear calmed down and seemed to let out a yawn of satisfaction. Rayleigh smiled at this achievement. Midoriya needed to use his conqueror's Haki to tame the beast. That way, he could prove that he could control it. The only thing that was affected by his spirit was the bear, so this was a total success. Congratulations! You can now control your conqueror's spirit. How do you feel? Rayleigh asked with a broad smile over his face. Midoriya turned his tired eyes over to his master. Tired, maybe hungry, but mostly tired. Rayleigh kept his smile as he walked up to the green-haired boy and hit him again. Good, because the entrance exam starts in just a few hours, he said before Midoriya could comment about being hit for no reason. The green-haired boy began to panic. He quickly grabbed his things and then ran like there was no tomorrow. Rayleigh watched this panic chaos unfold before his eyes, much to his own enjoyment. Midoriya ran his way to UA with haste, forgetting how tired he was. Eventually, he reached the gates and wheezed violently as he laid eyes upon them. He took a deep breath as he mentally prepared himself. Whatever happened today would decide his future, so he had to bring his A game. Midoriya walked forward, determined to not let himself fall behind. That is, until his foot slipped on an uneven tile and he began to fall, literally. Midoriya cursed himself while falling. He literally had the ability to see more than almost anyone, yet he couldn't avoid a single misplaced tile? He closed his eyes and prepared himself for impact. This wasn't something he should be allowed to simply get out of. He deserved whatever came next. Midoriya waited for the impact, but it seemed to never come. He opened his eyes and noticed something strange. He was floating. Since when do I defy the laws of gravity? Midoriya asked no one in particular. Since I came into the picture, a feminine voice answered. Midoriya was shocked to receive an answer as he turned his head towards the person it belonged to. He saw it was a girl with brown hair smiling at him. Sorry, I used my quirk on you. It would be bad luck if you fell, she then said as she placed the weightless Midoriya back on his feet. That wasn't bad luck, it just was me being bad, he said as he felt his own body weight come back to him. The girl just giggled at this. She was about to speak, but then she heard the announcement about having to hurry to the auditorium. We better hurry. Good luck, she shouted before she sprinted off. Midoriya stood there for a second. He then decided to sprint, but not before muttering, "She's pretty cute." The explanation in the auditorium was very straightforward. Destroy robots to earn points. Different robots give different amounts of points. In the middle of it all, a blue-haired boy stood up and rambled on about how the teacher had failed to properly present the upcoming exam. That issue was solved quickly when President Mike explained that there was a fourth robot worth 0 points, and it was difficult to beat. Midoriya then made his way over to the fake city and prepared himself for what was about to go down. His body was itching to get started, so he permanently held a stance for when the gate would open. The doors opened without warning, and Midoriya immediately rushed through. The other examinees were confused, until President Mike told them it had already started and that there was no countdowns in real battles. Midoriya sprinted through the field and used armament on his arms to punch the robots to pieces. Eventually, he came up with the idea to infuse pieces of the robots with Haki and use them as weapons. In the monitor room, the teachers were all watching the test go down. They all seemed to be pleased with the various examinees, and some even began to pick their favorites. In the corner of the room, there was a man with blonde hair carefully observing a certain screen. It was the one with the green-haired boy running around and destroying the robots. He was trying to figure out how he did it, how he managed to do the things that he did. But no matter how much he thought about it, he never found an answer. They're all doing well at the moment. Let's see how they handle this, one of the teachers announced as he pushed a massive red button. Midoriya was still raking in points like it was nothing. Surprisingly, the exam was much easier than he originally thought, and he didn't know if he should credit Rayleigh for this feeling. He kept going for more points, but then realized the ground was rumbling and saw the other examinees run for their lives. Midoriya looked at what they were running from and immediately understood. In front of him was a robot that towered over the buildings. Midoriya had no intention of fighting it and decided to run, but he stopped when he heard a familiar voice call out for help. Midoriya faced the cry and was horrified. He saw the girl that had stopped him from falling, but she was trapped under some rubble. The 0-point robot was approaching her. Soon, it would crush her. Midoriya was frozen with both horror and anger. That girl was in trouble, yet no one came to rescue her. The green-haired boy started to tremble with his anger, to the point that weak pulses from his spirit were sent out and put the other examinees on their guard. Eventually, he boiled over so much that he sprinted at full speed towards the girl. The 0-point robot was inching closer and closer to the girl, until Midoriya got there. He infused his arms with Haki as he pushed the robot back. The 0-pointer staggered slightly, and Midoriya took this opportunity to lift the rubble and carry the girl to safety. The 0-pointer resumed its course, but by then, Midoriya and the girl had already made it to safety. Then suddenly, the exam ended, and the examinees were told to go home. As if on cue with the announcement, an old lady in a nurse's outfit came out and asked if anyone was injured. On that note, Midoriya carried the girl over to the nurse, who then healed her with a kiss. "Thank you very much," the girl said after Midoriya put her down. The green-haired boy grew a little nervous as he answered, "There's no need to thank me. I only did what any hero would do." The girl smiled, and Midoriya's cheeks turned a little red. "Well, I'll see you later then," the green-haired boy said before he walked off. The girl was a little confused, but she smiled over him being confident that they'll both pass. About a week later, a letter from UA came in. Midoriya was nervous, but at the same time, he was so eager to see if he passed that he tore the whole thing open. Inside the letter was a metal disc, which then displayed a hologram of All Might. The number 1 hero explained that he was the newest faculty member of UA, before he proceeded to review Midoriya's results. Midoriya managed to get the second highest in villain points, which would be enough to pass. But then he explained that there was a hidden feature called rescue points, and that Midoriya had earned someone rescuing the girl. Gaining both his villain and rescue points together, Midoriya placed first in the entrance exam. The green-haired boy bellowed and cried tears of joy, for he could finally achieve his dream. He then proceeded to call and tell Rayleigh the good news. His master congratulated him, but Midoriya could tell by the tone of his voice that he wanted to hit him for reacting the way he did. Almost a week after, Midoriya woke up early to properly prepare himself. His mother had made breakfast for him, as he was quick to put his new uniform on. Shortly after, he decided to make his way to UA, and he did so by jogging. It took a while, but eventually he made it over to the massive building. The green-haired boy proceeded to run through the halls, in search of the classroom that read 1A. Upon finding the door, Midoriya was shocked by the sheer size of it. He wondered if there were giants in the classroom. The green-haired boy then steeled his nerves before he slid the door open. What he saw on the other side of the room was a blue-haired boy having a somewhat heated argument with Bakugo. Their argument stopped abruptly as they turned their eyes to Midoriya standing in the now open door. Bakugo just scoffed before turning his head back the other direction. The blue-haired boy, on the other hand, walked up and introduced himself. "I'm Tenya Ida. It's a pleasure to meet you," he said as he held his hand out for a handshake. Midoriya shook his hand as he too introduced himself. "I'm Izuku Midoriya, and the pleasure is all mine." Ida returned Midoriya's smile with one of his own before he said, "Midoriya, you managed to see the true purpose of the exam. I must say that as a student, you are superior to me." Midoriya felt embarrassed by that comment, but before he had a chance to explain, a familiar feminine voice came up from behind him. "I know that messy hair," it said. Midoriya turned around to see the girl that he saved during the exam, and he thought that she looked cute in her uniform. "I'm Ochaka Uraraka. Thank you for saving me during the exam, she said quite nervously. Midoriya smiled at her as he said, I'm Izuku Midoriya. Once again, there's no need to thank me. Uraraka smiled back at him before she began to rant in excitement. What do you think we're gonna do besides orientation? I wonder what the teachers are like. I can't wait to meet everybody, she said until she was interrupted. If you're just here to make friends, you can pack up your stuff now, a gruff voice said behind Uraraka. Everyone turned towards it and saw a very sleep-deprived man inside a caterpillar-like sleeping bag. The man got out of the sleeping bag as he introduced himself. I'm Shota Aizawa, your teacher. These words made everyone in the classroom freeze with shock. How was this worn-down man their teacher? Aizawa was both unfazed and unamused by everyone's reactions. He then pulled a sports uniform out of his sleeping bag as he said, Now, put these on and meet me outside. We're going to have a test. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story thus far. I hope you have enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things I'd like to go over before our video ends. First, we have a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes over the deep lore and facts of a wide variety of anime. It's sure to expand your weeb knowledge for all kinds of series, guaranteed. On top of that, we have a third channel called We the Celestials Naruto What Ifs. It's what we do on this channel already, but in the vast world and lore of Naruto. Go check it out if you're in the mood for some jutsu action! Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I want to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. Finally, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, then I would like to extend out an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being, we only accept members 16 years and up to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interests by joining the Recruit Discord using the link in the description below. Our Discord is an all-around fantastic place to be, whether you're a fan or looking to join our band of misfits. We're always looking for members to join us. And so that's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and please, have a fantastic day.